All right, let's talk about the hardest part of trading. And no, it's not about the charts or some secret system. It's all about what's going on right up here, inside your own head. We're going to dive into mastering the mental game. So let's kick things off with a really big question. Think about it. Our brains are literally designed for survival, right? To keep us alive from, immediate dangers. But what happens when you take that same brain and stick it in front of a trading screen? Well, it turns out all those amazing survival instincts, they can actually become your biggest enemy. And that's what brings us to our first section here, what I like to call the trader's brain trap. We're going to really dig into this massive clash between our ancient, hardwired instincts and what the modern market actually demands from us. So here's the thing. Our brains are basically wired for the savannah, not Wall Street. You see a tiger, you run. That's fear, and it keeps you alive. Simple. But in trading, you see a market panic, and that same fear kicks in, so you sell. The problem is that usually means you're selling right at the bottom. And that instinct for now, like finding food and eating it immediately, that's great for survival. But in trading, the real money, the real success, comes from the exact opposite, patience. It's all about waiting for that perfect setup. Okay, so how does this brain trap actually play out? Well, it creates this really dangerous cycle of self-sabotage. And the craziest part, it almost always starts right after you have a massive win.
Yeah, it's a huge paradox, and it trips up so many people. It's called the winner's curse. That incredible feeling, that euphoria you get from a killer trade, that feeling of being invincible, that can literally be the thing that leads directly to you blowing up your account.
And this is exactly how that emotional roller coaster goes off the rails. It starts with that big win, right? You get a huge dopamine hit, and suddenly you feel like a genius, like you can't lose. That leads straight to overconfidence. You start thinking your rules are for rookies, so you make a huge bet. And then, bam, the market does what it does, and it hands you a massive loss. Now you're not just down money, you're hurt, you're angry, so you jump right back in, not with a clear head, but just to get your money back. That, my friends, is revenge trading, and it is the fastest way to zero out an account. For a lot of traders, this isn't a one-time thing. This cycle happens again and again and again, and it keeps going until they finally hit a wall, a turning point that is just so painful it forces them to have this critical realization, the kind of insight that can actually save their entire trading career. And what is that big realization? It's this. The problem isn't your system. It's not the indicator. That endless search for the holy grail setup? It's just a distraction. The real problem, the one thing causing all the chaos, it's you. It's your own thinking. There's a great trading psychologist, Dr. Alexander Elder, who talks about this. He calls it hitting rock bottom. And he says that's the point where real change can finally begin. It's that moment of just unbearable pain that finally breaks through all the denial and makes you face the truth about your own role in the losses. Now, Dr. Elder makes a really powerful and maybe even a little provocative comparison here. He says losing traders are a lot like alcoholics, and he suggests that the first step to getting better is the same as in AA. You have to admit you're powerless. Not powerless over the market, but powerless over your own emotional impulses that cause the losses. Suddenly, failure isn't just bad luck anymore. It's an addictive pattern, something you have to actively manage every single day. Okay, so once you have that insight, everything changes. You can finally stop fighting the wrong enemy, which was never the market, and start building the mental edge that the pros have. This is the moment you stop being a victim of the market and start becoming its student. There's a classic book, The New Trading for a Living, that puts it perfectly. It says that real, lasting success in trading isn't just about one thing. It's like a three-legged stool. You've got your trading tactics, sure. You've got your psychology, which we've been talking about, and then you have strict risk management. The thing is, if any one of those legs is wobbly, the whole stool comes crashing down. And when we talk about risk management, there is one golden rule, the 2% rule. It's so simple. It just means you never risk more than 2% of your entire account on any single trade. Period. This is your lifeline. This is what ensures that one bad trade, or even 5 bad trades in a row, can't wipe you out. It keeps you in the game. So, how do you actually make yourself follow these rules? Simple. You become your own coach. And your main coaching tool? A trading journal. The pros are obsessed with keeping records. They track everything, not just the entry and exit prices, but what they were thinking when they took the trade. That journal? It becomes your most honest coach. It doesn't lie, it shows you, in black and white, every dumb mistake you keep making, and it forces you to face them and fix them.
All right, this brings us to what might be the single most powerful tool in a professional trader's arsenal, but it's also the one that's most overlooked. It's a mindset that looks totally passive from the outside, but it's actually the highest form of discipline, and it will completely change the way you trade. I love this line. Boring trading is profitable trading. Think about it. Amateurs are in it for the thrill, for the action. But pros, they know the market is not a casino. It's not there to entertain you. That constant need to be doing something is an amateur's impulse, and it's an expensive one. Real, profitable trading is methodical, it's systematic. And yeah, a lot of the time, it's pretty boring. And this right here, this captures the entire journey from being an amateur gambler to a patient professional. Your real job as a trader isn't clicking the mouse. It's the waiting, the disciplined, hands-off, patient waiting, waiting for the market to come to you, waiting for your perfect A-plus setup. That's the hard part. The waiting is the work.
So, when you boil it all down, the journey from amateur to pro, it's not about finding some secret indicator or a magic system. It's about conquering the enemy that's sitting right between your ears by mastering the discipline of patience. The market is constantly transferring money from the impatient to the patient. So the only question left is, which side of that transfer are you going to be on?